what's up everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Drew Muzan. Before I get into the video, I want to make sure that you guys like, comment, and subscribe on whatever platform you're viewing this on, and be sure to get this out to all your friends. So, I am talking about my first book today. This is my first book, The Framework. You can see your boy's name right there, you know what I'm saying? Right down there. It's all glossy and nice, and you know, but this was my first book. This is my baby. I dropped this, I want to say, almost 2 years ago, and I've learned a lot of lessons from this book, and I wanted to create a video surrounding that. So a bit of a backstory on this book. I got inspired to write this, I want to say 2016, 2017. And additionally, you know, at first I thought that this book was only going to be 50 pages. I thought that I was going to write a 50-page book, five chapters, because when it comes to me and books, and you'll know this as I get inspired to put out more, I'm not one for fluff. I'm not one to put out 16 chapters and the first 3 pages of each chapter is just some example about somebody over in England, and then it somehow finds its way back into what I'm talking about. I'm very cut and dry when it comes to what I gotta say. I get that, you know, I don't get that from anybody, but I'm inspired by that with this former minister, not former minister, but minister by the name of Kenneth Hagin. He passed away a long time ago, but people used to always say of him that his books were really cut dry to the point. He didn't waste any time, and that's how I am when it comes to writing a book. So kind of with this book was kind of written in the same style, very cut and dry, to the point, giving you the meat and let you go on your way. And with this book, it's called The Framework. I wrote it basically inspired off of that scripture in Matthew talking about building your house on a rock, and shallow foundations and strong foundations, and got some really good nuggets in the word from the word that inspired this book. And I put it out, but the only thing now is some of the things that I wrote about I don't necessarily believe anymore. So that's what happens with growth. I'm not mad at it at all, because I discontinued the publication, so nobody can get it anywhere. At least I think nobody can. Nobody can get it anywhere, so I discontinued it. So I was never mad about it or whatever, because I got a revelation. I woke up, I figured out, yo, what was I talking about? Man, what was I talking about was wrong. So I think I am more disappointed that I didn't get the revelation sooner before I put out the book than putting out the book and then catching it after the fact. But yeah, that's the reason why the book is not out. It's because I no longer believe in most of the stuff that I talked about. There's some condemning passages in here. There's some condemning things in here. Some mixture gospel. What I like to call mixture, where that term mixture comes from is mixing 2 covenants. You're mixing old covenant law and new covenant grace, and that's what I was doing in this book. So this is the reason why it's not out today, is because it's mixture. But it taught me a lot, and I wanted to talk about maybe 3 points as to what I learned from it. So the first point I learned is that publishing a book isn't that hard. So you really, you know, beforehand, before you're trying to write a book, you're looking around like, man, God, how can I write a book? I don't know how to do this. This is different. This is a whole book. But more than likely, if you're not famous watching this, or you have the money to, you're probably gonna have to go to a self-publisher, because you don't have the money to go to a publisher and get them to publish your book for you. You don't have enough influence or status. So you're probably going to be going to a self-publisher. I went to one called Create Space. I would not recommend it, because I have not gotten paid some royalties from them. They owe me royalties. I never got paid. I canceled my account and everything, but they never gave me my royalties, but I didn't sell them any books anyway. So I just look at it like I blessed the company. And then I went to another to reproduce, and that was Lulu. I went to Lulu and I reproduced it on there. So Lulu is somebody that I'd recommend. But there's plenty other self-publishing places that are free, and then there's some that pay per month, and you keep more of your royalties and you keep more of a percentage. But most of the time you'll find yourself going to a self-publisher that will take a percentage in hand for them publishing your book on your behalf. But yeah, you get with a designer. You shout out Jacob Morgan, who designed this cover front and back. Shout out Jacob Morgan. Real dope designer. But you give it a designer, tell them what you want, give them the dimensions, give them the idea, and then you put everything into place. You put your transcript into place. You go to Fiverr, you go out there and you find somebody to proofread and edit your book. You do that and it's done. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not that hard. So a lot of people are in their heads about it because it's like, it's a book. Like, oh my gosh. And that's where I was at first too. But then when I seen people that I knew that were doing it themselves, it was like, that's not really that hard. So publishing a book is not that hard. So know that. Publishing a book is not that hard. Writing a book is hard, but publishing a book is not that hard. So that's the first thing that I learned from writing this book. Okay, so the second thing, keep your mouth shut when you write this book. Keep your mouth shut. Don't tell a soul. Tell your mama, and maybe not even tell your mama. Tell your best friend, but maybe not even tell your best friend. Keep your mouth shut when you write this book. Don't tell anybody that you wrote it. Tell maybe one person that you're confident that they can keep their mouth shut, but tell one person, and I don't really know, I can't really explain and say like why, but it messes up the book. For some strange reason, when you talk about the book before it's done to everybody, it takes you longer to finish it. For some strange reason. Just trust me on that. For some strange reason, you talk about it before it's done, it takes you longer to finish it. And then two, you don't make any release dates until the book is finished. So that's a problem that I've seen people make, and that I made myself. I think I made it with this book. I think I kept pushing it back for some strange reason or whatever, but I never announced like, oh, official release date. I just wanted it. I think in my head, I wanted it to be out by my birthday, and I think I was like a few days shy from my birthday, whatever, because stuff was still getting added in. But you want to make sure that you keep your mouth shut. You know, people make the mistake of printing up flyers and printing up everything that has the release date on it, and then something happens with the printer, something happens with the proofreader, something happens as far as you might get a creative block or something, and it stunts that talking about it almost feels like it stunts the book from coming out. So it stunts the release date. So you want to keep your mouth shut. Don't tell a soul before you put out this book. Don't tell a soul. Just write it. Keep it quiet. Once it's finished, then you promote it. Then you let it out. You know, I made the mistake of putting out boomerangs of me writing it, or excerpts, or saying I'm writing a book in conversation or whatever, because everybody has that, you know, that I don't know if it's pride, but you just have that, you know, swagger, like, yeah, I'm writing a book. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has that, and you want people to know that, and people to look at you a certain type of way, and it's just like, you don't do it. Don't risk it, because it's better to keep your mouth shut and you get everything done on time than to blab to everybody and then you're not able to finish it. So that is rule number 2, or point number 2, as to what I learned from this book. The third thing is you want to have a plan. If you do not have a plan, the book won't sell. Meaning that you need to have a rollout plan. If the rollout plan takes a year, in whatever, you know, however you're trying to plan it, if a rollout plan takes a year, it's better that it takes a year to put it out and you sell more copies than you just put it out willy-nilly. Because a lot of times, this is what I try to preach to people, is that you need brand equity. If you do not have brand equity with the people, or your people in your niche audience whom you're trying to reach, if you do not have brand equity, then people will not buy your book. No matter how much they commented like, oh, you write a book, oh, I can't wait to support, and also stuff like that, they will not support. I've seen it firsthand. Trust me, people up and down said they was gonna buy this book. Nobody bought it. Maybe like 10 people. You know what I'm saying? And most of it was family. So you need to have brand equity with your niche audience, with your audience of whom you're trying to reach. You need to have brand equity. If you do not have brand equity, I do not recommend you dropping a book, because it will fall flat on its face. So you want to have established brand equity. You want to establish. That's why I'm being consistent. That's why I'm putting out videos every single week. That's why I'm trying to show my face on social media. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't have everything figured out, but I'm trying to establish brand equity with the people whom I'm trying to reach. And that's currently what I'm doing. So that's what I didn't do when I dropped my first book. I really just had a plan to just, create some merch, you know, put it out, boom. How come I didn't shoot a commercial? How come I didn't pay the extra money? One, I was working a part-time job when I wrote this, so I didn't have a whole lot of money. I paid an enormous amount of money to get this design done. I'm not even going to tell you how much I paid. I paid an enormous amount of money because I wanted to go to a professional designer, and I was on payment plans with the designer for half a year almost. It felt like paying him every single month in order to get the design done. So he had a extremely long amount of time to be able to get it done. So that's another thing. When like I said previously, you want to keep your mouth shut. You got to keep your mouth shut because you don't know how long it's going to take for you to pay if you have to be put on payment plans to be able to put the book out. So I was on payment plans. This book cost a whole heck of a lot of money to design, and it's really, he just drew it. You know what I'm saying? He drew it, and I respect him for it, and it's dope. It's still dope, but I paid an enormous amount of money for a drawing, you know, for drawings. You know what I'm saying? And when looking back on it, I wish I didn't pay that much for what I got, but what I got was dope, and it explained exactly what I was trying to convey. So whatever. But you want to have a plan. All I had was some t-shirts. I was gonna put that out, but I didn't think about commercials. I didn't think about social media challenges. I didn't think about giveaways. I didn't think about having people endorse it. I didn't think about any of that. And looking back on it, I wish I would have taken 3 to 6 months to develop a book launch and build some brand equity before I put the book out. So that's it for the video. I hope you guys learned something from my mistakes and my lessons that I had to learn from writing my first book. But be encouraged that writing a book is not that hard, but make sure you're methodical, make sure you keep your mouth closed, and make sure that, what's the last point? What's the first point? What was the first point that I said? That it's not really that hard. Yeah, so make sure that you know that it's not really that hard. So I'm demystifying the fact that writing a book is hard. Writing a book is hard, publishing it is easy. Keep your mouth shut and be very, very methodical about how you want this book to be rolled out. My name is Drew Muzan. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you were blessed by this video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.